Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day. I'm just having a little bit of a confused day, especially what transpired just now in the North Gauteng High Court in a Senzo Meyewa trial where the judge, who has been quiet, and of course I think maybe he got chastised or advised or whatever the case might be, where he does not interfere when the defense is on the floor cross-examining a witness. But just now, just towards the end of the day, Judge Ratha decided, you know what, let me come into the arena because this man that is on the stand, he's getting pushed against the wall and he's starting to be, he's feeling the pressure from Advocate Nisi. Guys, when Mr. Mangena took the stand, he was asked specifically that if evidence that he needs to test for ballistic comes in an open evidence bag or the sealed bag, will he accept it? He says no. Now we learned that and did say that at some point Mr. Mnisi is going to circulate to the bag, to the sealed bag, and the reason why he was asking him the make of it, if he knows the make of it, and he said no. And I thought, as a scientist, that is absolutely unacceptable, that you wouldn't know the equipment that you are working with, how they are made, so that you are able to defend them in moments like this. So he doesn't know how they work. However, I am holding on to the word that he said, that he does not accept evidence back that are already cracked open for him to do a ballistic test. Mchali said he himself will not keep any evidence in the SAP13 store that are open. They can't receive that. And then he mentioned that the gun that today is being smeared on accused number 3, being the shooter of Senzo Meyewa on the 26th of October 2014, he said that gun was due for destruction. Like it was going to go for destruction. Now we hear that Mangena did what? Instead of the investigating officer bringing the evidence to Mangena for him to do what? To do ballistic testing, no, Mangena takes it upon himself to go to the SAP13 store to collect the weapon. And then when he gets there, the weapon is in an unsealed sealed bag. He takes it with him and goes to his lab to do the tests. Now he says, no, when I go to the SAP store, it was in a box. But you are the same guy who said you will not receive any evidence that comes to him with when it's not sealed. And then he does not put that he got the firearm that he tested that was in a box. Now that's when Ratha jumped up and said, And now he is defending the witness like he always does. Basically, he's trying to show or cast doubt on the defense itself, that the court itself is not convinced. He's already made his judgment, just like he already made his judgment about several things that Mr. Mnisi caught him on today. And then Ratha, when he realizes that I made a mistake, he's now saying, okay, no, let's move on. No. The court said 1, 2, 3. Then we cannot move forward because I want to understand, what did the court mean? When the court makes a mistake, guess what it does? Because it uses its power, orders Mr. Mnisi to continue. If you don't think this case is cooked, then I don't know. I can't help you. I really can't help you. Clearly, I don't know what's going on in there, but I can't help you. But other than that, guys, this entire cross-examination, even though I feel like Advocate Mnisi is onto something and is doing an amazing job on the floor with this witness, but I think Mr. Mangena, he is also good with gaslighting. I think he's a very good gaslighter, and I'm hoping that Mr. Mnisi realizes that this man is a gaslighter. That is why he would actually tap onto Mr. Mnisi's brain. But Mr. Mnisi, I think he was catching on that, no, this guy is making a fool of me. We are discussing on an exhibit before you, and it's mentioned this is the exhibit. But then he would, when Mr. Mnisi would ask a specific question on the exhibit in front of him, he would ask, which exhibit? And then when Mr. Mnisi is like, you know what, This is, he used some word that got Mr. Baloy standing up and saying that Mr. Mangenya needs to be respected. He's an expert, not just an expert, a ballistic expert, and he needs to be respected as such. And then Mr. Nisi conceded. But when Mr. Nisi was asking question, he was going back to exactly what Mr. Nisi was trying to tell him he's doing. And now Mr. Nisi is confused. Like, I don't know what other words to use to basically tell you the same thing now that I'm told I need to respect you as an expert. So he was playing a lot of psychological games, this Mr. Mangenya, and he's not answering the questions, unfortunately. I suspect that indeed the gun that he is examining, or he examined it from another crime, not the Senzo Mewa killing. It's completely from another crime. That is why it was due for destruction. Why was it due for destruction? Because it has served its cause in a court of law and it got itself a conviction. And that convicted individual is accused number 3. And that gun is, I believe it is linked with a case somewhere in Mpumalanga, taxi violence or something like that. And now it's being brought back and repurposed for Senzo Meiwa. And that is why Mr. Mangenya is struggling. And that is why Mr. Nisi keeps asking the same question over and over. Oh, another thing about Judge Ratha. I don't know, he was also playing gaslighting games, telling Mr. Nisi that he asked the same question yesterday. Yesterday we had 6 minutes of court. There was no cross-examination. 6 minutes of court yesterday, because the court had to adjourn at 10 to 11 so that Mr. Nisi goes and studies the evidence that was recently given to him by the state as per his request for Mangenya to go and do some homework. So when did he ask the same question over and over about the foot and height of accused number 2? What's happening there? But you see the brain games that they've decided to take, because somehow they think that the defense, they are not smart enough. They are not witty. They are not intelligent. So if we play an intelligent game, we are going to get away with this. Because that is why you had Mr. Baloy standing up so many times, and when you listen to his objection, you're like, what exactly are you objecting? What is there? And yet Mr. Nisi, first he lays the foundation. He says, I will prove it in due course. But Mr. Baloy gets up and says, no, you need to lay the foundation. Mr. Nisi just said he will prove it in due course. So they are playing that game. And Mr. Mangenya, I think, is very, very good at playing brain games or mind games with the defense. And I think in general, as a person as well, he's good with mind games. If you are a guy whom you sit with and have some kind of a debate over something or another, if he realizes that you are pushing me against the corner here, he plays the brain game. He will gaslight you. He will make you doubt what you are saying or questioning. But thankfully, Mr. Nisi is pretty strong enough. I understand Mr. Nisi at one point he was a prosecutor, so he kind of like understands these tricks and hacks and all that stuff that are played by the witness. Probably he himself had advised the witness that, listen, this is the route we're going to take when you take the stand. I think at some point Mr. Nisi even told Mr. Mangenya that I know those tricks. I know those tricks. Because simply, why, I suppose, I don't know how true this, but I hear he was a prosecutor for a very long time. So he does know those tricks that Mr. Mangenya was playing. I don't know, guys, when this case is going to wrap up. I want to know that. If somebody can come and say, listen, we're about to wrap up this case, I'll be very happy to know that. But Ratha, for quite a while, he has been quiet. And I also found it quite interesting that Baloy would get up and say this question has been asked more than 10 times. And then the witness himself like, yeah, I've answered this question more than 10 times. And then Ratha says, yeah, yesterday he asked the same question 10 times. And now they're going to have to play the record where Mr. Nisi asked that question regarding, is it accused number 3, and accused number 3, when he had to go to the prison to measure him. Now I need to read up on the teachings of the people that you mentioned. Murdoch, that sounded Russian to me, like some kind of KGB stuff going on in there, especially the names. I must be honest, when I was listening to the names, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I need to check it out because I think what Mr. Mnisi is trying to say is, as a ballistic expert, according to the teachings of the authors of this cause, you were not supposed to even go to the prison because you now are turning into an investigating officer. Things are supposed to be brought to you. And if they're asking you to reconstruct a crime scene, you go back to the crime scene and then you reconstruct the crime scene. And then in the crime scene, get the same people that were in the house, place them according to how they were seated when the intruders came into the house. And then from there, while they're all there, you take the measurements of the people that were there and then take the accused to the crime scene as well. And then you measure them from there because you're reconstructing the crime scene. But going to the prison, and then he is saying, "Oh no, what do you call this? This was part of ballistic, and that is why I had to go to the prison." No, you go to the crime scene. That's where the crime happened. It didn't happen in jail. It happened in Fossleras. And of course, you can request for the prisoners or the accused to be taken to the crime scene. But no, that question is asked 10 times. But no, Sibanda can ask a question from sunrise all the way to sunset, and it rises again and sets again and rises again, and the judge is quiet. He doesn't say that, yeah, but you asked that question 10 times yesterday. It never does. But when it's the defense, and then he's saying, no, I know he's asked it more than 10 times. That's why I'm allowing him to continue. And yeah, that record needs to be played. I want to hear Mr. Mnisi asking that question yesterday. When did he ask that question yesterday? Or day before yesterday? Because what Ratha is confusing the fact that the witness himself admitted on record that in Pretoria North, Kininda was there. That is when this man was measuring, not even measuring, he was looking at the foot of Ndanzi in Pretoria North. There's no way that Mr. Mnisi asked many times about the measurements of the accused. No way it says that in the records. And then Mr. Mnisi needs to prove it to this judge that he's a liar. He says he listens, but he doesn't listen. He's got selective hearing. And then he jumps the gun off for what? To protect the witness, to make the state look good. Because the state, even now, let's say this case was a fair trial. Let's just say the case was a fair trial. What happened today, the state would have been very much in a compromised position, probably losing the case. Because why? Mr. Mnisi is asking all the right questions. And you know what I like about Mnisi as well? He is asking these questions step by step, little by little by little of what he is looking at in those charts that Mr. Colonel had to go and mark. One at a time. And now Mr. Mangenya is failing to answer questions on his own ballistic examination. This man knows that he's lying. This man, he knows that he screwed up. This man knows that Mr. Mnisi is onto him. And that is why he decided to obfuscate by playing mind games. That is just what I observed. But other than that, the entire cross-examination, I felt like it was still pretty much technical. You could even tell with the interpreter the many times that he asked for the repetition of the question, simply because they are too technical. Even for me to follow, I was like, ooh, I feel sorry for the interpreter. I feel sorry for anybody that is listening like ourselves, because I was really exhausted with the jargons that are used in the courtroom right now. But other than that, I'm just listening to the way this man is answering questions. He knows they are onto him. He says, when he saw more than one grooves on both sides of the charts, that is why he can stand with his chest out that this is the right firearm that was used in killing Senzo Meiwa. He says he's adamant. Of course, you are going to be adamant if they pulled out a gun from another crime, and then the same bullet, probably the same bullet that was SAP 13 store, you would have pulled out. That's my thinking. That's my thinking. The fact that you had to go to SAP store, what did you go and do there? To do gun shopping that you are going to do ballistic on? Because that's how it sounds like to me. And the other part that really got me very interested was when Mr. Nisi was replaying the eyewitnesses' story. Like what happened, what transpired inside the house, basically to match the ballistic examination results. I was like, I see what I think what Tumelo and Zandile were explaining was what transpired from what they remember between allegedly Longwe as well as what's his name, Senzo. And I do think now that all of them indeed were involved, including somebody hitting the perpetrator with crutches on the face. And and that's when the gun went off. I think when the gun went off, it didn't go off because they did not run because the gun went off. They ran because they were not sure if now the gunman was going to turn the gun on them. That's why they took cover and left Senzo Meiwa on the floor dying. And then guess what? Allegedly, that's when Longwe left the Kumalo house. Off you went. And then instead of calling the police and the ambulance, Chico Twala was the first one to be called. And he said, I'll handle it. Do not do anything. Don't call the police. Don't call the ambulance. I'll be there. I'm just thinking. I'm not saying he did it. And then, of course, I think he saw Senzo Meiwa lying there. That's just my suspicion. He was already there. What time did he die? I think he died around, for me personally, my suspicion, the moment they returned from collecting Tumelo Madlala from Fosloras, or is it Katlahong? And then from there, they went to the Kumalo. Yes, they did go to the bottle store. They went to the Kumalo house. Kumalo house, they had some kind of a lunch. The mother cooked for friends, and then they ate the leftovers of some sort. And then they started drinking, watching the match. I think it was during the match when Longwe walked in, angry and loaded, allegedly. And then, of course, went for his girlfriend, whom probably he was looking for the past 24 to 48 hours, and she was not having it with him. Maybe because she got fed up of his drug addiction. I mean, his father did say, after all, in the recent interview, that Longwe has been struggling with drugs for the past 25 years. And if we know anything about drug addicts, at some point, somebody is going to die in their hands, right? And so maybe Zandile was fed up with the drugs and all that stuff, and she couldn't deal anymore with him. Probably she even broke up with him. And then he comes loaded, allegedly. This is all allegations, nothing factual here. It's me rubbing my two IQs as well. And then what they say transpired between them and the intruders, it's exactly what transpired between them and Longwe, who was probably high. And I don't think Longwe was alone. Longwe was with somebody. Who is that second person? Because that second person either was the driver or Longwe was the driver and he had an extra person. Could it be Zungu maybe? Or that other person that he mentioned, Kwabini, could be Kwabini? I don't know. That's what I'm just thinking. So I think that's what transpired in that house on the 26th of October 2014. Maybe Longwe, I'm just thinking, maybe Longwe was attacking Zandile. And then all these guys that were inside, I mean, how do you go into somebody's house and then you attack the child of that house in the presence of their mother, their sister, the friends? Of course not. They are going to assist everywhere they can. That is when he pulled out a gun because he noticed that, listen, I'm outnumbered. And then he shoots. So that is what I was just thinking about it as I'm listening to the replay of what happened, as he is basically replaying this to Mr. Colonel here. I don't know. That was my thought. There was something else that I thought about during the testimony. I can't remember what it is. If I do, I will put it in the next video. Yeah, that is what I picked up today, guys. I think yes, 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 with my chest out as well. My own personal opinion, I think this case is definitely cooked, and everybody that is busy protecting witnesses and also hitting at the defense, they are involved. They are involved one way or the other. Whoever they are, powerful people, people with power, and they can use that power to do whatever they want, and they're demonstrating that even under GNU. GNU, we are watching you. The whole reason, okay, let me not say all reason, one of the main reasons why South Africans did not vote back the ANC, it is this case. That is one of the reasons. And the reason why South Africans decided to vote against the ANC is because they got afraid of their own liberty. That one day somebody might come and accuse you of a crime you did not commit, and find yourself as the 5 men that stand accused of killing Senzo Meyiwa. I'm just saying, GNU, something ain't right with this case, and something needs to be done with this case, because there's no justice that is being served here. Justice delayed, justice denied, and they continue to prolong what is already dead. Now we are just flocking at a dead horse. I don't know. Somebody must, I don't know who. I don't know how they can navigate outside of the separation of powers. I don't know how they can navigate within the judiciary, because this is not right. It's just not right anymore. I keep thinking about the Meyiwas. This is not right, guys. So I just thought, guys, that for me, the biggest highlight was what transpired towards the end of the day, when Ratha was basically, in my opinion, started attacking Advocate Mnisi, making him feel like he's stupid, like he don't know what he's doing. That is just my opinion. Anyways, guys, please don't leave this video without liking, sharing, commenting, and also subscribing. And if you subscribe, make sure to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys for the super thanks. You know who you are. I'm still working on my comment section. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for the support always. I'll see you guys next time with a new video. Goodbye. Oh yeah, thanks for the praise about my new look. Thanks. I'm blushing.